Well, it's a chilly and drizzling morning in Nairobi as the weather lays low and the traffic slowly tails back. But we have a hot and progressive show ahead for you. Good morning and welcome to NTV Today. My name is Dann Mwangi. We are digging into the issues bedeviling the agriculture sector today and coming after yet another presidential reprimand to the agriculture CS, that's Mwangi Kionjori. Now, we shall devolve the discussion with views from various parts of the country. Bernard Ojwang in Migori, Oko Kusa in Kisumu, Bridget Ngana in Naivasha, Zacchaeus Mwasame in Bungoma, as well as following up on a number of developments in the capital. In Mombasa, Chief Justice David Maraga is set to preside over the official opening of the East Africa Magistrates and Judges Association annual conference, and Kevin Mutai is on it. We have Ahmed Abdi, who is following up on the Mandera security situation alongside Seth Olale. And aside from that, we also have the Lake Region Economic Blocks Conference that's ongoing, and Julian Samboko is there for us live. And we also have a lot more happening across the country. So first of all, to just get an idea of what's happening in Bomet, where there's the LREB conference happening, Julian, give us an idea and the gist of what to expect today on this second day of the conference.
Thank you very much, Dan. We are live from the Bomet IAAF Stadium, where the Lake Region Economic and Investment Bloc Conference is entering its second day. Yesterday, it was formally launched by President Uhuru Kenyatta, who emphasized the need for a policy that will enable regional economic blocks to take shape. And one of the issues that emerged was that the counties, which are being called upon to adopt the LRE bill, which will enable the formalization of this entity. The second day is set to focus on plenary sessions, and a number of them will be on key investment themes that should be taken up. And we are just lining up some of the guests who will be able to join us. We have the Chief Executive Officer of the LREB, please. This is Dr. Abala Wanga, who is the Chief Executive Officer of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. And I'll just bring him on board to shed some light into what we expect today, please.
Good morning. Today we are in day 2 of the Lake Region Economic Bloc Conference, and today we have a symposium on blue economy, which will run from this morning. Panelists are Dr. Joyce Laboso, Governor of Bomet, Dr. Wilber Optichilo, and we'll have presenters. The keynote speaker here is Dr. Moses Ekiara, who will give a keynote address, and other panelists. Then we also have SDG for health, who will run a breakaway tent to discuss health issues and dive deeper and dig into the most flagship project the region can embrace in their blueprint in health. And also we'll continuously continue sub-themes on blue economy. And then in the afternoon, we'll have the Vision 2030. Then in the evening, we'll have the summit members, our private sector dinner with the donor agencies and partners today. So far, that's the program for today.
Thank you. One of the issues that emerged yesterday was the prospect of a development bank. If you could just speak to this issue and what we expect around the bank issue.
Yes, yesterday the prospect of developing bank was well covered in Governor Oparanya's speech, and he really elaborated much about it. Initially people thought that establishment of the bank is the only sole singularly project in Lake Region Economic Bloc. No, we have many flagship projects, but we believe that the pillars were categorized into 3, as he said, and financial services is just one of the pillars, like ICT and infrastructure. And under financial services, we have the bank, which was flashed out at the flagship project. We have other flagship projects like tea, sugar, maritime transport, and conservation of water towers and forests. But the bank is urgently needed by the people of the region. As he explained it yesterday, this is just going to be a commercial bank and a development bank like any other. And it's a bank that will be biased to the people in the region to borrow and save money and build the trading capacity of small traders. Tea farmers here need money all the time. Dairy farmers here need money all the time. This is where they'll run to and the suppliers to the counties, because since devolution we have seen a lot of business people devolving to the county to supply the county. The capacity, their capital-based capacity is still not sound. So here they can get an LSO, go to the bank, do the business, and the bank will pay. And you know, sometimes counties delay salaries. They can't pay because they are still waiting for money from the treasury or central bank. They just go ahead and pay the salary, pay suppliers. When the money comes, they'll sort it out. And the small traders, the borders, this is to improve their microfinance base. We need this bank. And now I think all the governors and county assembly members, and soon we are going to engage our senators, members of parliament, in a separate meeting to put a thorough buy-in. So for now, we believe so many counties, over 70% of the counties are now supporting the bank.
Thank you very much, CEO. We've just been speaking to the Chief Executive of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. I'm now joined by the keynote speaker today, who is Dr. Moses Ekiara, who is the MD of Ken Invest, and he'll be shedding light onto how the Kenya Investment Authority is coming into this space.
Okay, thank you very much. Today, actually, I'm wearing two hats. One, of course, as the CEO of Ken Invest, where our work is really to take care of investment, private investment. But I'm also a board member of Vision 2030. So I'm also here, you know, really reflecting on the outcome we have come as far as the vision is concerned. The Vision 2030 has been always looking for moments like this when we can have blocks discussing investment and, you know, how to actualize this. So I'm so actually very, very happy. I'll be speaking about transforming the counties with through the Big Four agenda. And the Big Four agenda, even though it's a prioritization of 4 areas, food security, manufacturing, affordable housing, and universal health care, it is actually a subset of the vision of the vision itself, the big program and roadmap for the vision. So this is a great idea to prioritize few areas so that resources are focused, we achieve what you are looking for, and then can be able to move on to another set of areas. And I think I would like to tell Kenyans, we are doing all this not for the purpose of just having a good conference and a big meeting. It is to transform lives. We would like to see by the year 2030, no Kenyans living below the poverty line. We would like to see the average Kenyan earning not the $1,700 that we are now, but at least $3,000. So all this is actually gearing towards that. And I think as I make the keynote speech, I'll be talking about the key imperatives, what we need to do as a country in order to actually transform.
Speaking of key imperatives, Daktari, one of the issues that emerged yesterday was that counties are under pressure to mobilize revenue, and yet when they impose taxes and levies, now investors run away. How do you intend to address this issue?
First of all, I would actually say when you see counties coming together with a block like this, it is a giant step, because the investors we deal with who really want to do big work, our county is so small. Even some of our counties are so small for their projects. So for me, these blocks are one. It helps to provide a big opportunities, but more importantly, a forum where they can, you know, have peer pressure to speak and say, wow, this levy we are doing is helping us in the short term, but it's actually shooting ourselves in the foot, because we are not attractive to investors. So I think one of the key things I'll be even mentioning that is actually to look at the big picture and look at what we can get ultimately when we have more investment, rather than look at the immediate need for revenue. Yeah.
And another issue that emerged yesterday was that the role that MSMEs or small businesses play at the county level. Just how is K Invest looking to catalyze the participation of these businesses in the entire economy?
Thank you very much for this. You remember the recent President's forum at the Strathmore with the SMEs. Definitely we cannot ignore this sector, because we are talking about 3/4 of new employment comes from SMEs. And the contribution to GDP now is close to 30%. So it's a really a very, very important subsector, taking care of many Kenyans. At Ken Invest, we recognize this, and we know the multinationals of tomorrow are the current SMEs. So we are working to nurture them. We are profiling SMEs, so that we know if it's an SME called, nation enterprise or something like that. We profile them, see their strengths, see their weaknesses, what they need. Then we can even support them to get training so that they can overcome the challenges they have. And we also help them to connect with big investors. You see, the best way to support an SME is to give them a big contract with the specs. Once they are able to supply one, and they have the technology and the know-how, everything else becomes quite easy. Yeah, so that's our strategy. Yeah, okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We've been speaking to the MD for Kenya Investment Authority, Dr. Moses Ekiara, who will be the keynote speaker in today's forum. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Julian Samboko, speaking to us from the county of Bomet for that brief. And aside from that, we've got a lot more happening in the country. We're going to cross the county of Mandera, where we have Ahmed Abdi standing by, where there's been a conference, in regards to Mandera security. And Ahmed, maybe you can give us a brief of what exactly is happening today.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Dan. We are live from Mandera. The two-day conference has entered its second and final day here in Mandera. The forum has brought all sitting leaders and the past political leaders where they're discussing the issue of radicalization. And the leaders here, that is the government led by Mandera Governor and Garissa Governor Ali Buna Okoren and his counterpart in Cielo, Mohamed Kuti, have been here to sensitize the residents to come out and openly discuss the issue of Al-Shabaab and its radicalizations. But it is first time that the leaders has voiced as the one discussing the issues openly. Initially, before the conference, to discuss an Al-Shabaab issue here in Mandera is something sensitive, and few can dare to address the issue and openly. But for yesterday forum where the leaders and the residents have openly engaged and discussed honesty and give all the opinions and hope things, and as far things goes, things will be going. I'm now joined by Mandera County Commissioner and Kotswa Olaka. And sir, you have been so passionate about when it comes to issue of residents coming out openly discussing the issues. Yesterday, it's like you use harsh tones when addressing to the resident that they are the complicit of Al-Shabaab militant, that they are that the residents are the major challenges they are facing to defeat Al-Shabaab.
Thank you very much, Abdi. I didn't really use harsh words to admonish the community. What I did was to encourage them to come out and participate openly in defying and fighting Al-Shabaab, because Al-Shabaab is an existential threat to this republic and to this region, and we felt that the efforts of the security agencies alone is not enough. We need to have the political leadership on board. We need to have the clergy on board. And above all, we need to have the effective participation of the local communities in creating resilience so that we create synergies to fight Al-Shabaab, so that Al-Shabaab does not undermine the devolution agenda we have, the development agenda, because this particular region has been affected by marginalization for the last 50 or so years. And we had started seeing gains of devolution. And now if Al-Shabaab is going to kill our teachers, kill our medics, kill our quarry workers in the construction industry, then it means that they are going to go back 20 years. So mine was just to encourage the local communities and not to admonish them.
Your expectation at the end of this two-day forum on radicalization?
One is that we would have created enough sensitization for both leaders and communities. And two, the level of cooperation between security agencies and the leaders and the communities will be higher, so that we don't have blame games that we have had in the past, where the local communities and leaders are blaming the security agencies for the security gaps we have, and the security agencies don't blame the local communities for not providing relevant, timely, and actionable information.
And I'm also joined by Mandera Lafay constituency MP Abdi Mute. You hail from an area that is most affected than any other sub-county in Mandera. Now that you have attended the forum, what's the way forward for your constituency?
Well, first of all, as the county commissioner has said, We have all gathered, all the leaders, MPs, governors, and the county leadership have gathered here so that we can discuss this issue of these menaces that has really disturbed us and has really been has affected our communities. We have told the people that enough is enough. Time has come that they must wake up, that they must fight these groups that are calling themselves Al-Shabaab. We have told them that we have to fight them, and I think by the end of the closure of this workshop, we expect a big change in the societies, the communities that we lead, and so that they can fight these groups. Yes, it is in my place is most affected, and the numbers of people who have come from down there, from Koalafe, are also part of the participants. And we expect them, we have told them that they have to fight themselves. The people from Elwak are the same. The community at large in Mandera have now agreed, and I think there will be a good outcome out of it.
Yeah, thank you, Mishima. For the meeting is set to conclude in the next few hours. Is set to conclude in the next few hours, and where recommendation is set to be given to the leaders and the security team here. And remember, leaders were so harsh, particularly the Mandera governor, that he has reached an extent saying that he won't initiate any new development in Mandera unless the residents stand to fight against Al-Shabaab. That seems harsh statement for many experts here, but as the meeting is set to conclude in the next few hours, things is expected to change from the previous, where leaders can take even to their constituencies, to the world level, and can discuss openly. Remember, to discuss here Al-Shabaab is something sensitive, and only few can dare it. But at the end of this meeting, hope things will improve. Back to the studio, Dan.
Thank you very much, Ahmed Abdi, for giving us that brief, and thank you for speaking to us and giving us some good context, especially for the person who covers those stories on the ground. Very relevant and very precise in regards to the details. Thank you very much. Now we cross down to the county of Mombasa, where we have Kevin Mutai standing by, and we have the Magistrates and Judges Association of East Africa having their conference in Mombasa, and Chief Justice David Maraga is meant to be opening this. Mutai, tell us what do you expect from this conference, as according to what you've been given a brief on?
Well, thank you so much, Dan, from Nairobi and from the county number 1 here in Mombasa. As you've just said, that we have an ongoing East African Magistrates and Judges Association happening here in Mombasa. This is an annual event that brings together judicial officers from all over East African countries, and they're here to deliberate on various issues. Among them is enhancing ways of improving the judicial, the justice system in the countries that comes from this East African bloc. Remember that it is an annual event, and here we are expecting the Chief Justice David Maraga and also Paul Kihara, that is the Attorney General. We're told that he will represent the office of the President, and this particular event has a number of total more than 200 judicial officers who are expected to gather here today to deliberate on issues concerning the justice system in the East African community. Remember that there are various issues cropping up lately, and among them I'm told that one of the things that they will be talking about is enhancing ways of improving the justice system and the delivery of justice among the residents, or rather the people over the East African community. And with me here is the Secretary General Brian Haemba, just to bring us up to speed on what we are expecting to come out from this particular meeting. Thank you so much for joining NTV. Just briefly introduce yourself and tell us exactly what is happening today.
Thank you so much. My name is Brian Haemba. I'm the Secretary General of the East African Magistrates and Judges Association. This is an association of judicial officers within the East African community, that is Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, Rwanda, and Zanzibar, and we extend to South Sudan and Burundi. So this conference is normally held annually, and it rotates within the East African countries. Now, the last time Kenya played host for this conference was in the year 2014 in Nairobi. Last year we had the conference in Kigali, Rwanda, and the other year we were in Kampala, Uganda. So this is the opportunity that Kenya has to host this very important conference. The theme of this year's conference is the role of the judiciary in deepening regional integration. As you know, judiciary is a key pillar, one of the key pillars in fostering integration within the community. And basically, this is a forum where judicial officers come to share experiences and the best practices that we can have within our court system. So we have got the judges from the East African Court of Justice, all of them, including the President of the East African Court of Justice, the Vice President of the East African Court of Justice. We have the Chief Justice of Kenya, who is the host, CJ. We have the Chief Justice of Uganda. We have got the Chief Justice of South Sudan. And we've got representatives from the Chief Justices of Rwanda, Tanzania. Yes. And we have more than 350 judicial officers who are assembled here. So it's a big event for us.
We have a couple of countries experiencing various challenges, among them South Sudan, with the kind of political instability happening in that country. Are we expecting to see such kind of a conversation happening from this particular meeting?
Exactly, because as I said, this is a forum where we share best practices. We have got challenges within within the East African community countries, especially with the matters of rule of law, independence of the judiciary. Not only in South Sudan, it runs across. Even Kenya got our own problems on issues of the independence of the judiciary. As you know, a strong independent judiciary sometimes is not liked by everybody. There are forces that oppose that. So once we are here, we give ourselves an opportunity to see how best we can come up with the practices that promotes the rule of law and the independence of the judiciaries. So those challenges are very, very important to us, so that we get to know how best we can come out of them. Yes.
How was this particular association formed, and which year was it, and why did you decide, or rather the member states decided to come up with such an idea of bringing up such kind of association that brings together the judges and the judicial officials from respective members of the East African community?
The East African Magistrate and Judges Association has been in existence for more than a decade now, and it is made up of country associations. So every country here in this conference, back at their home country, they have got their Association of Judicial Officers. For example, Kenya, we have got the Kenya Magistrate and Judges Association. Uganda, we have got Uganda Judicial Officers Association. Rwanda, we have got the Rwanda Judges and Registrars Association. In Tanzania, we have got the Judicial Judges and the Magistrate Association of Tanzania. Same to Zanzibar. So those country associations are the ones that comes up and forms now the East African Magistrates and Judges Association.
So what exactly are we expecting from today? That's the last question. What are we expecting to see, or rather to see the association discuss? What are some of the key areas that you want to deliberate on from this particular meeting?
Yeah, we have lined up very many topics. As you know, this conference starts today. It will go all through up to Thursday in the evening, where we expect it to be closed by His Excellency the Deputy President. Among the topics that we have highlighted for discussion as the theme of the conference states is what role can the judiciary play in fostering integration within the region. Number two, we have got a topic on how best can we combat illicit trade. As we know, illicit trade is a matter that cuts across. It cuts across the countries. I mean, we find that perpetrators sometimes are transnational in nature. I mean, there are several actors who could be stationed in different countries. So we have got a myriad of topics, close to 25 topics, very enriching, and we have got presenters, not just from the judiciary. We have got scholars. We have got presenters who are coming out of the country. We have got representatives from the European Union to come and share with us the experience the EU has had when it comes to the role of the judiciary in fostering integration.
Okay. Thank you so much, and we look forward to speaking to you again. Thank you so much. Okay. Well, that was Brian Haemba, the Secretary General of the East African Magistrate and Judges Association, and he's saying that among the key issues that they are expecting to bring out from this particular meeting, or rather event that is beginning today here in Mombasa, is to establish the independence of judiciary and, of course, help other member states it's rather experiencing challenges in delivering justice to their people. Remember, this is an event whereby the Chief Justice of Kenya, David Maraga, will be playing host, and it is said that it is expected also to discuss various issues, among them illicit trade, which Haemba said that it has become something that really needs to be addressed, and it cuts across all the institutions from these respective countries. Remember also that organizational bodies affiliated to the judges and magistrates so those countries will also be here, and also the European Union, members from the European Union will be here to share their views on how to deliver justice and enhance the judicial system in those respective countries, from the European Union all the way down here to Africa. Of course, he said that, of course, issues such as challenges, the political instabilities experienced in other countries will also be discussed here today, and find ways that the judiciary will independently help these particular countries to have a stand and move forward. But with those few remarks done from here in Mombasa, I'm told that the event is yet to start, and I beg to hand over to you so that we can move in and get to see what's happening inside there. Back to you, Dan, in the studio.
Thank you very much, Kevin Mutai, for that brief from the County of Mombasa in regards to the Conference of the Magistrates and Judges of East Africa, giving a view of the judicial systems that are in place in the different East African states, and that is a conversation we shall be following. When the CJ who's opening that function is there, we are likely to cross over to Mombasa to listen in to him. But now there's a lot of things to look forward to today, and Mark Masai is going to be guiding us through them. Mark, welcome. You know, we're talking about agriculture, and
we made it to work, man. The traffic was something else.
These guys who live far away.
Yes, in other counties. But yes, we are here, finally.
Yes, you know, devolution. Even our anchors are devolved. We've got anchors in Machakos County, Nairobi County, and we had Wepukulu. Yes. Trevor Wepukulu. But see, considering he's from out of Nairobi, he's the Mshamba, so he'll be one who lead the discussion on agriculture.
Okay, if that's what you say, from the dusty suburb of Machakos, it's great to be here in Nairobi, and we are ready for a good conversation on what's been ailing the agricultural sector. Yeah. The president has been talking tough, but we want to know if this is what's enough. I mean, just pronouncements from his podium and getting people freaked out. In fact, the agriculture CS was meant to give us, you know, a briefing today. Yes. But I don't know if he's preparing his notes further, because he's pushed it.
Initially, we knew it was meant to be in the morning.
Yes.
Now it's moved to about 2 p.m. But nonetheless, it forms a significant part of the conversation, because agriculture is such a key thing in Kenya. And again, when we talk about things like the budget, agriculture is underfunded. When it comes to the budgetary allocation, we do not have what is meant to be allocated to agriculture. Right. I'm talking like I'm one of your guests, so I'll stop at this point.
It's okay, you can join us, but Arnold Maliba, policy analyst, is standing by. He has a lot to say definitely on this and other developments in the country. Something else in the business world. Yes. There was a lot of fuss about, you know, how Chinese are taking over the market and the job market, and now there's an attempt by Madeira MP to, you know, have a cap on what foreigners should be able to do in terms of the work they're coming to do here, because people are complaining. That's something else we can get into.
Exactly. It kind of reiterates what the CS Interior Matiang'i had been saying. Why are we giving foreigners jobs that can be done by Kenyans? You know, you call someone to come and, for instance, just as a random, someone to come and be a sweeper, yet you can have sweepers from locally. We are struggling with unemployment and underemployment, and so I think your conversation will be really good.
It will be. And something else we'll be looking at, and we've just mentioned it right now. Thank you, Dan, for that and taking over in the first slot of the NTV Today. It has not been a very easy season for agriculture CS Mwangi Kionjuri. He is set to hold a briefing this afternoon, and this is on the ongoing issues around the ministry. The president has called him out publicly more than once, with strong tones of displeasure on the ongoings at the ministry and, by extension, its related agencies. So something we'll be looking at there. The Public Investment Committee, something else that will be active today, is fairly busy this morning. It meets Kenya Railways Corporation's leadership regarding the status of loans charged on KRC leases as part of the corporation's audited accounts. The committee will thereafter meet with Kenya National Shipping Line to examine audited accounts for the financial years 2013-2014 to 2016-2017. Still at the National Assembly, the National Assembly's Public Accounts Committee is set to meet the State Department for Infrastructure on audit queries. Could there be unearthed graft at the Ministry of Transport, Infrastructure, Housing and Urban Development? Well, the Principal Secretary for the State Department in question is Julius Korir, who is under CS James Masharia. Now, something else we are looking at from the House of Referendum push is still on. The Constitutional Implementation Oversight Committee is to meet Third Way Alliance leader Ekuru Okot over proposed amendments to the Constitution of Kenya. Now, Okot has been pushing for change in the supreme law of the land with a key focus on reducing the number of elected leaders. Something else we have our binoculars on is Marsabit has been host to conflict and death. One more person died in the clashes pitting Borana and Gabra communities in the country, raising the number of those who have died in less than 2 weeks to 9. North Hor MP Chachu Ganya and his Saku counterpart Ali Raso were arrested for allegedly inciting violence in the area. As of yesterday, Raso had been presented at the DCI headquarters in Nairobi for grilling and possible arraignment in court. We will look to see if the conflicts will die down and if there will be progress after the arrests. Now, something else we're keeping an eye on today, we're still monitoring the unease in Kapedo. Police officers were deployed in Amean area of Kapedo after bandits attacked and killed 4 people on Sunday. One person was admitted to Baringo County Referral Hospital following the attack. It is believed that there are more people injured who are still hiding in bushes. We're looking to see if there will be any further development and a stronger sense of peace. Eyes are also on the rainy season, which is here, and floods are looming in some areas. The government asked residents in flood-prone areas in Tana River County to move to safer grounds in light of possible floods. Tana River Governor Dado Godana warned that his administration will not support any victims of floods who will defy orders. We're keeping an eye out to see if there will be any relocations as well as a forecasted flooding situation. There's been a bit of a drizzle here in the capital, and you've seen what it's caused, a flood of traffic. We are monitoring Kenya Power's performance at the bourse. The electricity distributors' shares touched a 15-year low of 4 shillings in yesterday's trading at the Nairobi Securities Exchange as investors responded to a profit warning issued by the company on Saturday. Will the numbers decrease further? Well, we're keeping stock of the stocks on this one. Now, the corruption case facing the Kenya Power CEO Ken Tarus and his predecessor Ben Chumo has stalled after documents critical to their prosecution went missing. This is one of the big stories. We're looking at the stocks and how they were performing well. The court was informed that the original Energy Regulator Commission report on the faulty transformers they accused of procuring disappeared while in the custody of Kenya Power. Well, is there any relation to what's happening to the leadership as to what's happening to the stocks? We'll see about that. But something that I did mention is that we were expecting the Agriculture CS to start a briefing earlier today, and actually it was meant to be at 10 a.m. today, and this is in response to the warnings that the president has given to him directly in terms especially to what has been facing the maize sector, the payment of those who are expecting their dues given what they have already delivered at the NCPB. And there's a lot that has been in terms of the expectations of clearing that backlog, because the government, from at least what the president says, has released the funds, and he seems to be meaning business on this one, and heads will roll if indeed nothing is done and the status quo is changed. Arnold Maliba, not a stranger on this show, NTV Today. Thank you for joining us this morning. And he is a policy analyst as well as very keen on governance issues. From where you stand, and this was not the first time, this is the Mashujaa Day celebrations, wasn't the first time that the president made pronouncements against what is happening at the Agricultural Ministry, but also over the ASK show earlier in the month. And the president sounds pretty mad. Are you convinced as a policy analyst that something will be done?
Well, the president sounding tough is really not new, and I think I would really love to look at this as political.
Okay.
Yeah. Because from where I see it, the president is trying to simply give the CS Agriculture a pole position in succession politics. unfortunately. That's where I see it.
Okay.
That you take care of the issues that are bedeviling Western Kenya and Rift Valley, and you will be worth taking over from me. Because you see, even as we look at the succession politics around 2022, there is a succession within succession, especially within central Kenya, where the president comes from, that somebody has to take up after him. But largely, without major political issues happening around, then we are going back to the real issues that actually matter to Kenyans.
Yes.
Now, we do not have the political divides that have been there. You know, there has always been a NASA and Jubilee. And since 2013, there has always been a Raila versus Uhuru divide. Now, that doesn't exist. Now, we are going back to the issues that really speak to the economy, speak to our livelihoods. And number one, as expected, is agriculture. Because agriculture is the backbone of the economy, like they say.
Yes.
And it takes care about 25% of our GDP. Now, naturally, that again employs about 60% of Kenyans, even though the average farmer in Kenya is 60 years old.
Okay.
So what the president is simply trying to do is to, number one, ensure that as he prepares for his retirement, there is somebody to take care of that. But then Mwangi Kiunjuri is not new to controversy also. Okay. You remember he once sacked Fazul Mohammed at the NGO board then. Yes. And that is the first time, nobody's really talking about it, that is the first time a department was moved from one ministry to another. So I do not think Mwangi Kiunjuri is actually going to face the sack like everybody thinks. But so far from where we are now looking at, where we are facing, his ministry is actually going to dictate a lot going forward.
Right. And I mean, given, granted that one of the big four agendas is food security, and besides the succession politics, though, in terms of the priorities that the government is putting right now, I mean, yes, the president talks tough, and that doesn't, stand alone as the only, solution to what bedevils the agricultural sector. But in your view, do they have their attention in the right place in getting it right for food security?
Well, not really, because we are doing about 6%. When in our budget, agriculture is really underfunded. We're doing about 6% against the recommended percentage globally. That should be about 15%. Yes. So if it's not reflecting in the budget, the tough talk really doesn't amount to much. We have really let down agriculture for so long that.
What do you mean by that? Because I mean we need to be fed every day, and so by extension, it keeps going.
Agriculture has survived on its own because largely we depend on rainfall. Yes. And you should remember that between 1960 to today, temperatures in Kenya have actually risen by at least 1%. So there has been warming. And the major rains between March to about June have actually reduced. And of course, there is an increase in the rains that are beginning now, the October rains. So little bit there has been climatical changes, but we really have not done anything about it. There are issues to do with the extension. And the ratio of an extension officer to farmers is actually, in Kenya, is actually one extension officer to 1,500 farmers. It's impossible. So really, that really can't work out. There's a lot of subsidy elsewhere. Like I said, our agriculture sector is really underfunded. So I would like the president to put money where his mouth is. So just threatening the ACS on air and swearing in itself does not amount to much. And paying a few farmers money that is actually owed to them does not even begin to speak to agriculture. So it's time we really moved out. But the Big Four is largely a fad.
What do you mean by that? I mean, it touches on what really is...
Unlike in the first Jubilee reign, the Jubilee manifesto was actually anchored elsewhere. It was actually placed within the ministerial framework. This one is actually placed under PDU. Truth is that Nzioka Waita honestly is a ghost worker, including whom does he report to? What is the framework that will actually even help him achieve Big Four?
Are you talking about, when you say it's a fad, are you talking about the potential that it has, or even how much this matters, the four big areas, how much they matter to the Kenyan?
Big Four really...
And they say this is his legacy term.
Not really. The Big Four are not going to be the president's legacy.
Okay.
Probably he should fight corruption or something else. But then we plagiarized that. We picked up from a stock market in the UK.
So I'm told,
the
yes.
Big Four, the Big Four, we just plagiarized that.
But if
largely,
you look at our needs,
even
what is priority? Wouldn't you say that it falls under, you know, the areas that would really, really support our economy and deal with
our big one should be
on
corruption.
Okay.
Our big one should be corruption because we're losing about a third of our budget to graft.
Yes.
So if we take care of that, the others are likely to fall in place. But we've done away, you remember Kenya was actually a manufacturing hub. We've done away with that because we've allowed manufacturing, or rather imports, to come in and kill local manufacturing. We are doing the same to agriculture. So at the end of the day, we are going to be a net importer and a consumer, and not investing in our other segments that really work on our economy, that create employment. Probably talking about the sugar industry. The sugar industry supports largely about 2 million people.
Yes.
At its peak, it was employing directly about 100,000 people. But since 80s, it has been plagued with challenges, and we never act on them. We actually take half-hearted measures around it. The same thing, if the president does not really put money where his anger is, it really matters not.
Okay.
Even if heads were to roll, even if bodies were to roll, leave alone heads, it will not matter so much if we do not put money there.
Okay.
So we have not done so much.
Let me pause you on that, because these are areas that we need to definitely delve deeper into. And it's not just castigating the Jubilee leadership, but really looking honestly at what should be priority to the country, given the context that we have and the realities that we have. And you've mentioned corruption. It cuts across the board and it affects all those areas. But just to pause on this, something else that is active and in the lips of many, especially on the political field, and something that you follow a lot, Arnold, is the reactions to the appointment of Raila Odinga to the AU. And there has been reactions to that in terms of what now this should mean for Raila Odinga, and some members of parliament in certain areas saying that Raila Odinga should now somewhat retire from local politics and focus on international politics or continental politics. We have reactions from Kisumu, and Oko Kusa is on the ground to get the same. Oko?
Well, Mark, as you've said there, I'm on the ground actually at the central square in Kisumu, where residents have mixed reactions regarding these latest appointments. Remember, there are a lot of people on one side who are saying that, who are of the opinion actually that Raila should now quit local politics and then focus on the new appointment that he has been given by AU. But while on the other hand, there are people who also feel that he should actually continue with this 2022 bid, if that is true, that he's going to still vie in 2022. I've got quite a number of people here who also have varied reactions regarding this latest appointment. Let me start with this older man here who has a lot to say regarding Raila's political future. Start by introducing yourself, sir.
Hello, yes, my name is William Adera Huyo from Uyoma. I'm a Masai of 79 years old. On regards to the news that Baba has got a job of Africa as infrastructure, yes. I first of all take this opportunity to congratulate that. But over and above all, what I do know is that Kenya is a home. Kenya is not a cottage of young guys that when they have a dance at their cottage, Raila should not go there. What I do know is that Kenya is a home, and Raila is a person who can make Kenya what we do want. First of all, elections of Kenya always, every now and again, we have messes. And when we are hoping that Raila is the person who is able to put this country in the right track.
So what is your opinion regarding this Raila's political future?
So my opinion is that it is a job, all right, you can take it. But when it comes 2022, I support Raila must stand as a president of Kenya. That is my opinion.
Okay.
Yes.
How about you?
Okay, my name is Joseph Modima Tengo. They call me Asosogo. As youths, actually, we don't have much to say, but we congratulate Mr. Raila Odinga. And being appointed at AU with that post, it's okay, and we support that. And with the Raila quitting politics, actually, it's upon him to decide whether to quit or not. But we support him in everything, and we congratulate him for that post that he has gotten. Thank you.
So you don't think that if he continues engaging in local politics, he will might lose focus on his new appointment as the special envoy on infrastructure?
With me, I regard Kenya first, that the appointment is a very small thing as considered with Kenya, or as Raila being a president of Kenya, as far as I'm concerned. So I feel this appointment should not interfere with any appointment with Raila doing the job for Kenyans. Okay. We should see Raila as a Kenya who wants to build Kenya, and we would be happy if he can make. There are a lot of changes in Kenya needed Raila to be there.
Okay, fine. Let's hear from this gentleman here. To just start by introducing yourself, sir.
Yes, kwa majina naitwa David Otieno Ogeche. Mimi ni mkaaji wa Kisumu. Ni furaha kwangu sana kumona the Right Honorable People's President Raila Amolo Odinga akipelekwa juu kwa kiti ya envoy ya AU. Hiyo ni ishara ya kwamba watu wa ulimwengu na Afrika kwa jumla wamemuona usupavu wake ili aendelee na kazi mema amewahi tenda kwa hii Afrika. Na mimi naona ya kwamba italeta faida na manufaa kwa Afrika yote. Hata watu wa ulimwengu wa mbali bila shaka wamefurahi na hiyo kazi amepewa envoy. Sisi kama wa Kenya tunasema ya kwamba Raila alitosha na bado anatosha. Kwa hivyo tunaona ya kwamba kazi inaisha kama kama kila kitu imeisha. Wakati alianza mambo ya demokrasia Kenya, yenyewe bado anaendelea na kazi yake ya kuleta demokrasia ijakamilika. Na mimi najua kifika mwaka wa 2022 bado atakuwa ni Raila anyoroshe penye nyoroka kikamilifu. Kwa hivyo naona Wakenya wamefurahia na kuteuliwa kwake kwa envoy ya African Union, na Wakenya bado sababu wako na imani pia na Raila hawajawacha 2022 bado watataka ya kwamba atetee kiti ya urais ya Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Hauna wasiwasi ya kwamba pengine hiyo kazi itachukua muda wake mingi sana alafu pengine akose kuconcentrate kwa siasa za Kenya?
Hiyo kazi yenye amepewa huko yani Addis Ababa haisi fanya Raila asitekeleze yake hapa kwetu nyumbani Kenya. Sababu Raila amewahi fanya kazi nyingi. Ameenda Ivory Coast kuweka amani pale. Ameenda nchi mingi hata Sudan. Ameenda kila kote. Na haikumkataza kurudi Kenya anyoroshe siasa ya Kenya. Sababu yangu ya kusema hivyo ni kwamba kama sio Raila kukua pa Kenya na kuambia kwamba demokrasia yenye Wakenya sasa hiyo wanaona itakuwa imeenda. Kwa hivyo wacha aendelee kukaa Kenya na anyoroshe sawa siasa ya Jamhuri ya Kenya.
Kuna wengine wanasema ya kwamba hii wengine ikawa ni mbinu ya President Uhuru kukanganya Raila ili aondoke kwa kinyang'anyiro ya 2022.
Mimi siwezi kusema ya kwamba labda ni mchezo ya labda yani ya Uhuru ama Jubilee government kumpeleka kwa kazi ya nje. Ili ifanyika ya kwamba kulikuwa na nafasi pale na ulimwengu yote waliangalia mtu mwenye anasa kako hiyo kiti na hawakuona mtu yote bali tu waliona Raila Amolo Odinga sababu ya kazi yake yenye tenda kote. Kwa hivyo mimi naona Uhuru Kenyatta aliongea na watu wa AU wafanye nini? Watelewe kijana wa Kenya. Sasa Raila Odinga mimi mfananisha na kina Obama the president, unaona? Na wengine viongozi wa mashuhuri. Kwa hivyo mimi naona Uhuru Kenyatta ana mkono mwingi sana kuharibu siasa ya Raila, na ni kweli haizi haribu sababu siasa ya Raila ni ya kuzaliwa ndugu wangu. Hii ni ya kuzaliwa. Na Wakenya bado wanasema ametosha. Unaona? 2022 mimi najua naenda kumwaga hao vijana chini.
Same question. There are people who think that or feel that this move, the latest move, the appointment of Raila as the AU social representative on infrastructure, could be a ploy by the Jubilee or his political opponents to take him off the political scene 2022?
No, as far as I'm concerned, that is nonsense. What I do know, these people are looking for a capable person for the post. But as per now, Raila is found to be fit. Not just because of any panya and in any case. Okay. So I clear anybody who thinks that either Uhuru or anybody else is the one who is making all these things. Okay. These are just the lack of our beloved President of the people, Raila.
Thank you very much. Yeah, well, Mark, those are some of the reactions from the residents of Kisumu here. Of course, you've heard from the horse's mouth themselves. A lot of them feel that this latest appointment by AU for Raila to be the special envoy on infrastructure is a welcomed move, and they actually appreciate it. And they are also saying that they don't think that it's going to interfere with him come 2022, that his political future in Kenya as far as 2022 is concerned is still alive, and therefore they will want to see him go full throttle up to the ballot in 2022. So those are some of the reactions here. Varied, of course. Earlier on we spoke with some people. Unfortunately, we didn't have them on camera, but they had mixed reactions. They feel that Raila shouldn't have taken this particular appointment because it may take him off the political scene here in Kenya. Back to you, Mark.
Okokusa, always good to have the comments from Kisumu, always some vocabulary to add to our dictionary once we get those vox pops from the streets. Thank you for that. I'll have Arnold Maliba just respond to that in a bit, but first I need to release Bernardo Juang, who is in Migori, before he goes on to file the story of the day. He's getting some reactions from farmers on the situation as it stands and what they have to say, and perhaps even an appeal to the leadership. Bernard?
Hey.
Over to you, Bernard.
In Rongo Town, we'll be talking to farmers here. And remember, recently we've had cases whereby farmers have been complaining, maize farmers are complaining of the unpaid debts, and even sugarcane farmers here in Migori County complaining of illegal importation of illegal sugar from or outside the country. And now we are just going to talk to some of the farmers here just to tell us whether they think the government through Minister of Agriculture has done enough to help farmers. Join me here. Okay, you'll set to the name. Do you think the government has done enough to help you as farmers here in Migori?
Kaleboguta. I'm a sugarcane farmer. I think the government is not doing enough to help safeguard the interests of sugarcane farmers. This is because we have flooded imported sugar from cheap sugar from other countries, which is killing.
We apologize for that signal there from Migori, right at the farm to get the sentiments there. He was talking to one of the sugarcane farmers, and he already was talking about, the flooding of the market of sugar from outside, yet he is a farmer here and feels he can supply to the demand that we have in the country. Some of the issues that Arnold Maliba will help me get into in terms of what would stabilize the fate and the fortunes of our farmers here, as well as the new appointment of Raila Odinga to the AU as a special envoy in charge of infrastructure. We'll be back shortly after a break on NTV Today. Stay with us. Welcome back to NTV Today. We're not just talking about tourism, we're also talking about beauty and brains. Miss Tourism West Pokot Sarah Kiach, I believe that's the pronunciation, was crowned Miss Tourism Kenya 2018, and her county is having a grand homecoming for Sarah. And Lois Wangoi now joins us live from West Pokot County. Lois, is the beauty of the county and the country there yet?
Many thanks, Mark, and my sincere apologies for that small technical hitch. Indeed, as you noted, we are coming to you from the county of West Pokot, and currently we are at the area around Kapenguria, a day which has all sorts of excitement here, granted that the recently voted Miss Tourism Kenya, a lady who comes from the county of West Pokot, will be feted on this particular day. The county government of West Pokot has quite a number of activities to ensure once Miss Susan Kiach lands here in the county of West Pokot, then she will be fitted to a ceremony to just appreciate her for her performance at the Miss Tourism Kenya tournament, where she emerged top, and also to celebrate the gains that West Pokot County will also be reaping from her very achievement. Now, once Susan Kiach lands here in West Pokot, we expect that there will be an entourage led by Governor Lonyangapo and many other dignitaries and invited guests to celebrate this particular young lady. From the airport, the entourage will drive slowly all the way here to Kapenguria town, where she will have a moment or two to wave to the crowds here. And I can tell you quite a number of persons are excited to have her, and they have already started making small conversations around the town on how they will be welcoming this celebrated young lady, Miss Tourism Kenya, Susan Kiach, who hails from West Pokot County. So in the meantime, I just want to speak to a number of wananchi here in West Pokot County to try and understand their excitement and ways in which they are celebrating Susan Kiach on this particular day. Remember, that particular event will be broadcasted live by NTV, but before then we touch base with wananchi to get a comment or two, and of course a message of congratulations from the residents of West Pokot to Miss Susan Kiach. She is Miss Tourism Kenya 2018. Habari yenyu, sijui tutaanza na nani? Tutaanza na wewe. Asante sana kwa kuungana nasi kwa NTV. Utatuambia your name first?
Kwa majina naitwa Joshua Biwot. Nafanya kazi hapa Makutano. Tunafuraha sana kwa msichana wetu wa West Pokot ambaye
Kwa sauti kidogo bwana Joshua.
Tunafuraha sana kwa msichana wa West Pokot. Tulikuwa nadhani warembo wako Nairobi peke yake, lakini kumbe hata West Pokot tuko na warembo, na uzuri wa urembo wetu hapa ni ile natural, si ile ya urembo ya kuchipaka mafuta, kushuka hizi nywele. Hiyo ni yake natural, vile aliumbwa na Mungu. Sasa tunaomba, tunashukuru kwa huyu mtoto ambaye ameweka jina West Pokot mbele. West Pokot imeonekana, kumbe hapo tuko na warembo.
Hamkujua mko na warembo? Ameshinda kila mtu.
Ameshinda kila mtu, mpaka hata wewe Wangoi bwana amekutupa mbali sana.
Na umesema hapa wapaki hizi, hawashuki nywele.
Wapaki hizi lipstick, hawashuki nywele hizi. Na mavazi yake ni ile natural bwana, ile ya kinyumbani.
Sasa mtu akiwa nyumbani pengine anashangaa apati mrembo Nairobi, utamueleza nini? Atembee Kapenguria,
kuje West Pokot. Huku ni inji ambaye kuna warembo. Si Nairobi peke yake, watu wasikae wakidhani warembo tunaenda Nairobi. Hapa West Pokot.
Asante sana bwana Joshua, tunashukuru. Karibu sana kwa NTV. Tutaanza kwa majina yako.
Kwa majina naitwa Peter Lomada, mwanaharakati katika kaunti ya West Pokot.
Tusonge hivi kidogo bwana Peter Lomada, tena kwa sauti kidogo. Tuambie wewe una furaha kumkaribisha Bi Sarah Kiach, na venye uliona ameshinda Miss Tourism, ulihisi vipi?
Basi nimefurahi sana kwa hiyo msichana, kwa sababu ameweka kileleni katika kaunti ya West Pokot, na nikipenda tu nikaribishe kwa moyo yote. Na kwa sababu hiyo msichana Kenya sasa iko vizuri, kwa sababu kuchukua msichana kutoka jamii maskini mpaka ifike kileleni, tunashukuru sana, kwa sababu West Pokot kuna warembo wengi sana ambao hata sehemu ya Kacheliba mahali yeye natoka, wasichana ni bei kali sana kwa kuoa. na tunataka hiyo msichana ameweka Kenya hii mbele sana. Kama wanaume wanatafuta warembo wakuje West Pokot County wajione, kwa sababu hata leo, siku ya leo tunataka Wangoi naye akae hapa.
Nibaki hapa. Sasa itabidi nitoe hii rangi kidogo.
Unaweka rangi hiyo chini na tumepewa jina naitwa Chepengat. Kwa hivyo wewe unakaribisha katika hii kaunti ya West Pokot.
Chepengat. Inamaanisha ni?
Inamaanisha wakati mvua iko kidogo, sio mbaya. Green.
Asante sana. Yes. Asante. Nitafikiri kama nitabaki hapa. Sijui kama tutapata mama. Yes, tunapata mrembo. Tuanza kwa majina yako, utuambie Sara venye ameweka jina West Pokot juu yeye ni Miss Tourism Kenya 2018. Unajihisi vipi kama warembo wa West Pokot?
Mimi kwanza naitwa Masi Wamboi Kakai na nimefurahia sana kupata West Pokot County. A journalist, yani Miss Tourism mtu mzuri na ameshinda.
Okay. Na hiyo siku when she was competing, jambo lilikuwa mnafuatilia na venye labda alienda akakuwa top 20, top 10, finally mkasikia kwa number 1. Mlihisi vipi kama residents wa West Pokot?
Tulifurahi sana. At that time nilikuwa huko. Nilikuwa kwa Mtelo na nilikuwa there nikaona vile amefanya vizuri and I was very happy. Yeah.
And of course for the longest time West Pokot County ilikuwa among the counties zenye zilikuwa marginalized, especially when it came to the girl child. But tunaona kupitia Sarah Kiach, girl child ameamka sana West Pokot. Can you tell us a bit about that?
Hiyo kitu imetufurahisha sana kama wakazi wa West Pokot, kwa sababu tu expect tunazapata the best one kwa West Pokot. Lakini I thank God kwa sababu ameshinda na she's coming today. We want to celebrate it. Yeah.
Many thanks. Indeed, dear viewers, you can see there is a lot of excitement here in West Pokot County on this particular day. The county government of West Pokot, residents, even neighboring counties, and also other sorts of leadership have also been invited to indeed celebrate this young lady, Miss Sarah Kiach, who made it as Miss Tourism Kenya the year 2018. And I was speaking to residents here. They are really, really excited. Remember, West Pokot for the longest time was among the marginalized counties here in the Rift Valley, and it also goes to speak volumes on the milestones that the girl child has indeed been able to achieve from here in the county of West Pokot, indeed showing that all these other instruments surrounding West Pokot, for instance, devolution is really working because Sarah Kiach indeed has climbed the ladder and indeed competitively so and placed her county and herself on a very good platform. So as it is now, what it's currently going on is that the county government of West Pokot is just beginning to prepare themselves for that particular celebration. She will land here, say in the next an hour or so, and we'll be standing by to bring you that particular event live here on NTV. Remember, on this particular day, we will be celebrating Miss Tourism Kenya 2018, Sarah Kiach, a lady who hails from the county of West Pokot. For now, back to you, Mark, in our Nairobi studios.
Lois, some honest and candid feedback there on their natural beauty and what they have to say about the notion that the beauties are all congregated in Nairobi. Thank you for that one. And as we wait for her arrival and that, spectacle in West Pokot as they celebrate her. Just something I said earlier, she's a brain and beauty, and it is true she's a brains because she's pursuing biostatistics and actuarial science at JKUAT. As my producer says, mimi nikisoma tu news hapa. Yes, she's doing very well, and we celebrate her, and we hope that indeed she will represent the country well, the county, the country very well on the international field. Now back here, back home to issues that we were discussing earlier, Oko Kusa spoke to some people in Kisumu on reactions to Raila Odinga's recent appointment as a special envoy to the AU in charge of infrastructure. First of all, when you heard this news, Arnold Maliba, how do you receive it? Is this necessarily, exciting, or is this telling of what is coming in terms of the political field?
First of all, we had this news in April. As we headed into the handshake, yes, there was word that there will be a handshake and then he will take up an international assignment. Mm-hmm. But on the home front, it means so many things. I have said on this show before, and I'll still repeat, that the retired Right Honorable,
retired,
I want to use the word retired, is actually leaving politics.
Okay.
And the handshake is his retirement plan to win off himself politics and also his supporters, get an international assignment, and get back his troops to a pole position where they can fight again.
Right.
But literally, whatever is happening, it is Raila's way of living politics. He can't just say that he's living politics today, because if he did, there will be a ruckus around, there will be a lot of tempest as his backyard tries to reorganize, and a lot of succession wars. Nationally, there will be, because again, he has been that constant K in the equation of our political processes. So if he is not there, there's going to be quite some movement. So he's sleeping on it. But my gut feeling is that the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga is leaving politics.
He's been termed, of course, the strongest contender. I mean, leader of opposition is what we still call him. Yeah. And one would even imagine, I mean, how dare Arnold say that? Because he is the opposition and he gives the life to politics in Kenya. And he is, even if you say he might be retiring or not running for top office, still the kingmaker.
Well, our culture is such that once you are out of the political processes, the cycle that makes the electoral process here, you become less attractive.
But he isn't out. I mean, we've just had the election.
He's actually in the periphery. He has not said he's out, but he already is. So
how do you determine when someone is out of that cycle?
Because the word Agwambo is a man of mysterious means, an unpredictable man. He has pulled quite a number of tricks in the past. I think he has just realized that his days in the battlefield are coming to a sunset, and the best way is actually to organize a succession process. So as he takes time and goes around and leave everybody gazing, including ourselves here, he's actually working on his succession plan to ensure that he just doesn't leave abruptly. Yes, because the tectonic shifts will be such, so massive, that we might have a country wobbling for a while before it stabilizes again.
And that succession plan is what people would define as him being the kingmaker. So he still determines and he's still pulling the strings from wherever he will stand.
He was a kingmaker last in 2012.
Okay.
Yes.
With Mwai Kibaki.
Yes, it has been about a decade since he actually played kingmaker. He has always contended for the seat, for the throne, so we no longer can call him a kingmaker. He will only organize and probably become a father of a nation, a venerated elder and a statesman at that. But all symptoms and all signs of the times show that Raila Amolo Odinga is leaving politics.
So from your perspective and your view, and we all have our opinions, it isn't an attempt, as some have seen it or claim it to be, an attempt to distract him from local politics by giving him this appointment at the AU.
You cannot distract Raila. He is likely to distract you. So if he's taken up an assignment, he knows what he's doing.
Yes.
And you have to look at the implications and the kinetics that come with that. So it's a lie to say that somebody is distracting Raila. Raila has just decided to go that path, and he knows why he's doing that. Like I said, my gut feeling is that he knows his days in the battlefield are rather too few. So he's organizing, and how the best way would be bring back his troops to a better position. You know, like I took you in the wilderness, now I've brought you back to a place where you can
You're talking about the handshake here?
Yes, I'm talking about the handshake.
Yes.
The handshake is to get back his, because now his MPs can negotiate better, they can walk to any CS and not say that we are in the opposition now, the CS don't listen to us. Opposition politicians now have got access to government resources, and there is no excuse. Anyone can walk in, ask for whatever there would be. What an easy way of actually bringing guys back within the circles of government and showing up later on and telling them, okay, I've brought you in, I have oriented you well enough, now you can do your own working.
Okay, but you know, you talk about this in a way, at the same breath, some others are calling him to retire. That is, mostly members of parliament from Central, to retire from local politics and focus on being a continental or international leader. Is there even, any necessity in them making these pronouncements?
Well, actually, it's not really a lot of politicians from Central Kenya, but a few members of parliament, especially that team that has been hanging around the deputy president, that feels like him having taken a continental assignment is a bit celebratory. It's one way of them remaining relevant and, of course, pushing the handshake politics a bit further. Well, telling a man to retire is not any other person's business. It should be up to him. So probably they should wait and see how it moves out.
Yeah, but Jeanette yesterday said that is because it is, he diagnoses this as Raila phobia, that is a state of many politicians who are just afraid of what Raila is capable of doing?
Well, the crown or the gem in what Raila should be doing, or rather has been doing, has been an attempt at capturing state power. He has not been successful at it, at least formally. You know,
hasn't he captured it somewhat with a handshake?
Well, everybody's calling him the people's president.
Yes.
Of course, there was that crocodile that stopped him at River Jordan. And there has been a joke that, of course, the crocodile was the other day captured, so guys can actually cross on foot or just swim across. But whereas Raila, like I said, has been a constant in our politics, going forward, you know, even the guys who support the DP have not been sure whom they are competing.
Okay.
And the former prime minister has also been very amorphous. He doesn't say if he'll compete or not. Other people are speaking for him. So until then, they're not so sure. And in politics, you need to know your competitor. You need to know your opponent. You need to know your enemy. They do not know. All those are probe shots.
Right.
Trying to see if he'll come out, and then, of course, moving on with the politics of antagonism.
So last word on this disappointment for you doesn't come as a shocker for Raila. He himself taking it willingly means he is strategizing for the heydays.
For him, he actually engineered this. He worked around this. It is his own design. No one has done it. Until he walked and picked the president's call, until he went to Arambe House, he did it himself. It's not a surprise. He has actually engineered it. Okay. It is his work, it's his doing, and in my opinion, it is his way of organizing for moving out from the battlefield.
As you've said,
all soldiers never die, they just fade away. So he's just doing that.
As you said, his name, Agwambo, meaning the
mysterious man
of mystery. And mystery he is, and of course he throws a lot of surprises our way. We keep watching on the next move from the ODM leader. And I mean, wish him well in this new assignment at the AU as a special envoy in charge of infrastructure, and definitely can expect a lot of more reactions from the politicians to this. Let's move it back to the agricultural sector. And Bernardo Joang was talking to one of the farmers there in Migori with his concerns. He's a sugarcane farmer. I believe he's the same one he has standing by for comment on this, and then we can pick it up from there. Bernard?
Well, thank you very much, Mark. Sorry for that technical hitch. We were speaking to some of the farmers here in Rongo. Remember, Migori County, sugarcane farming is the main cash crop here. And for a very long time, you've seen farmers complaining to the Minister of Agriculture. And also, recently, you saw in Rongo town, police managed to intercept 9 lorries containing illegal sugar. And later, the lorries were released. And farmers also raised complaint, saying that something should be done by the Minister of Agriculture so as to save the situation. And also in Rift Valley, you had farmers, maize farmers, complaining about some unpaid debts. And now we are just going to talk to some of the farmers here just to tell us, is the government through Ministry of Agriculture helping farmers here in the country to achieve their goals? Joining me here. What do you think? Do you think the government is doing enough to help you as farmers?
No, please. Let me start by introducing myself. I'm called George Caleb. I'm a sugarcane farmer. Honestly speaking, the government is not sincere and is not helping farmers really. I think that is very evident. Maize farmers in North Rift. So cabinet secretary saying we are paying. Other farmers are saying we've not received. Government is not sincere. What do you think should be done? What should be done is that just as we know that agriculture is make sure that we should make sure that devolution from the farm, we should provide a way on how we help our farmers getting good let's say they get good machines for farming. They get the seeds. Our farmers should also be taught new skills for doing their farming. The government should be at all the time to facilitate receiving farmers into their payment after they've done their work. Do you think this is a good move? This is a good move, and I even appreciate His Excellency when he said that any farmer should take his crop any company that is willing to buy. I think as farmers, if the government is not serious about the sugarcane farming, and maybe we can farming and maybe we resort of survival because we are how can you take close to 2.5 years in farming and by the end of it all you are not given your money and the right time and then all the
passionate appeals and passionate question that the first question that the apologies that was cut short signal he doesn't feel there's coming from and yes I mean and yes about agriculture and lot comes up in terms of sugarcane maize. First of all let's talk about this maize issue because the main topic that we very harshly and it was very harshly and this was about the maize farmers. Are you surprised why we find ourselves in a position where people aren't paid yet the government has released? What do you think needs to happen to straighten things out, change the fortunes for the maize? We need to look at it from a larger perspective. You realize that it's not just payment. Even if we pay farmers the money we are definitely going to do after the president got very annoyed. We still haven't addressed their challenges. Like farming very expensive, still very expensive. Our farmers are competing. Other farmers who have got government subsidies. There's traders who are taking advantage of the EAC market protocol. For example, bringing in cheaper maize, holding it and then for them they get quite high prices and quite high prices and farmers. So even if the farmers get their pay today, it's not a fair shilling. It's not their fair shilling. It's their fair weight in the gold of their work. Because farmers have put in so much. Yet difference and the margins and the margins are very thin. When you bring in maize from Mexico, those guys are paid much. So what really happens is that we have got a secured and there has not been official government policy to address that. There has not been political goodwill. And I'm thinking probably the handshake is actually one of those really happened to our that we can forget the things that are told are lied to us. Focus on our life. And now focus on our livelihood. And the food chain, like I said, because these employees because the largest number. NCPB and maize farmers and even maize farmers and even the sugar sector. It's quite a small thing. It's quite a small chink in there. So we probably need to look like I said, comprehensively, to ensure these really can so that agriculture is sustainable. And you're talking directly to the man who's on our left, the man on the spot, to be the man on the spot to give the president said, and effectively responding to that, assuring people that the payments have been made, in order. But you say very small picture to solve the bigger picture of the agriculture. Let's start to speak about the bigger picture. What can get us falling back of we are very dependent on agriculture. Every time that we have short range and it is getting shorter, climate change, what should we be looking at? Well, number one, we need budget, our agricultural budget. Realize that the leading employer is leading employer in this. We need to make agriculture like I said, the average age of a farmer here in Kenya is 6 years. 67% of the adult population are people under. So we have got so many mouths that want, but very few people who are going to do the real farming. The other part is that we need to work on extension. We do not have enough. We do not have our farmers do not know on the technological front, elsewhere about when we talk about the mobile telephone. We are doing quite well in the agrarian and we are quite using outlet. And that is good of why the sugar industry is not farming on the other side. But then bringing fertilizer from the west coast to
about $40 per ton. But then moving that fertilizer from Nairobi, Mombasa, then it costs you $100 and $20 per ton. That in itself so much that doesn't have infrastructure. Guys actually having their produce ready and not being able to get to the market at the right time when it's still fresh, for example. Even the infrastructure also that goes in the input that goes in machinery. We have not had a comprehensive way of looking at it. But the highest number of us. It's the ministry that made it. Now, that is the ministry, like I said, that is going to make money. So largely they do so much. So when the CS speaks later, not they respond to the president. He's unlikely to respond. But to speak to the situation. Number one, just setting up a small committee. We need a comprehensive review of our agricultural sector. Of course, there are money inside that he will require a commission that can make recommendations that can actually be just having a small. That's why the president will anger. The president will anger. Does not Nigerians say that however out your anger is it, I am boiling, so the president's anger still does not speak to until he decides and he's a farmer himself. He should know this. When the other day he was a businessman, but he actually felt ashamed. Speaking out, even through away his. He needs to have a one-on-one dialogue. We need national dialogue, and the farmers and governments to actually look at. We do not allow a few people, like 18 people, have brought down the sugar that serves 2 million people. So where do we put our and you were talking earlier about to get back to that. You mentioned those brokers, and those who really benefit, all the getting the millions working, get millions of shillings from NTV and from LCPB and investigations to this investigation, I believe, and I believe will also respond in that later on today. Is that something that needs to be structured in the model? The farmer getting to the person, buying the person who's buying either the NTV or getting his product. I think what we need is our software. Okay. We are so much. Sometimes we do a lot of policy changes, work on hardware. We do not work on the software part of it. Because what is happening here is it's collapse leadership. It's collapse unity. And by the way, Kenya's first scandal was around maize. Under the first government, the first scandal of this country was a maize scandal. 50 plus years, maize scandals still show up time and again. I'm thinking my feeling is that the government has really because all the problems we have in agriculture, including the NTV, we are going to blame an organization, a unit, or rather a unit itself has actually been working, but a bad system always gets a good match. So, of course, there is need to review the structure around the CPS topic, but it's just very basic things. For example, I would take some blood measures today when he calls out the president swears at you twice. You have got the justification of going out and blowing your flag. So I know he's actually going by far. We worked out as an event. What we have is a challenge that we comprehensively, and not just with measures here. You've spoken about the budget allocation that we see in the agricultural sector, whatever is allocated